If you want to check out different content from myself, I've just set up a second channel where I'm going to post fitness and things. The link for that will be in the description. And of course, if you want to avoid the random lottery of FIFA points, you want to go straight to the source, buy the players directly, use u7buy.com and use the code TVM at checkout. What is going on, guys? TVM here. Welcome back to a brand new video. Yesterday we had a full, what I'd like to think is an overpowered Bundesliga starter squad builder. Today we're going to do the Premier League. Now normally I would start with the Premier League, but I've had a few problems with it, and that's why the Bundesliga came out yesterday, is because the Premier League normally is like one of the best leagues. It's a big go-to league for starter teams. More often than not, it's because obviously the majority of people who play the game are fans of the Premier League, so it makes sense that most people have Premier League squads. However, this year is going to be a little bit trickier, at least when you first start the game, because certain positions don't have great players unless you're going to be spending a lot of coins. And as most of us won't be putting FIFA points in, hopefully, it means that it's going to take you a little bit longer to get the better position players. And the main problem this year is going to be the striker position. Before we get into that, of course, we're going to start from the back. We're going to go for the goalkeeper. Now, it's entirely up to you who you go for. Henderson. Who the hell is Henderson? We're going to go for Dean Henderson. Now, there isn't a particular reason for this, although the two centre-backs link in really well. So if you do decide to go away from the Premier League, then it would make sense to maybe get a goalkeeper in that gives your centre-backs the chemistry. Now, I'm going to be a little bit boring with this, and again, one of the reasons for this is because we are looking for starter squad material. Now, Lindelof has 72 pace, which means he's not too slow. His dribbling would mean that his agility isn't going to be terrible. He's got decent defensive capability, not too bad short passing. He should be okay for the first couple of weeks until you can get a nice balance of coins together to be able to improve the centre-back pairing. Because the second centre-back that I'm going to go for, not a Manchester United player, but someone, again, you'll want to look to maybe replace in time, and that's going to be Sanchez. Now, he has a little bit more pace, much better defensive capabilities and physicals, doesn't quite have the dribbling, so the agility is going to be off. But again, for the first couple of weeks, until you can get your first set of rewards under your belt, you should be fine. Now, when it comes to the fullbacks, this is where we're going to inject a little bit of pace. In terms of the right back, you have a few options, but I'm going to go with Hector Bellerin. You can go for Yedlin of Newcastle if you really want to, but Bellerin has a little bit more about him. Yedlin is faster, don't get me wrong, so that's obviously good for sort of keeping up with the pacey wingers that you'll probably end up facing. However, Bellerin has a little bit more about him in terms of his dribbling than Yedlin. Even though Bellerin isn't a particularly great player, his physical is going to let him down, his passing isn't fantastic, he's still better than Yedlin in my opinion. Now, with that being said, on the left-hand side, we're going to go for an Arsenal player. We're going to go for Tierney. Now, Tierney is a better option than even Bellerin, even though he's lower rated. It doesn't make an awful lot of sense. Look at the state of that. He's got 80 physical compared to Bellerin's 65. He's got better passing. He's got slightly worse defending, slightly worse dribbling, better shooting, and he's one off on pace, and yet there's 2 overall difference between the two cards. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but, it is what it is. Now, in terms of the midfield, again, I'm sticking to the 4-3-3 because we don't know what formations are going to be good and what formations are going to be bad. So sticking with the 4-3-3, going to go for a player that I've mentioned before and I think is going to be pretty good early on, Nabi Keita. Now, the reason I think he's going to be decent is because of that dribbling. He will feel very good on the ball. So for what I expect to be a cheap and cheerful player, for very low amounts of coins, he should be decent. I'd like to think anyway. Hopefully he will be. Second player, we're going to go back to Man United and we're going to pick up Fred. Now, the reason I'm going to go for Fred is because, again, like Nabi Keita, he should feel good on the ball because he's got that low centre of gravity. His dribbling is pretty good, but he's one of those versatile players that can do a little bit of everything. He's going to be able to defend. He's going to be able to move forward. He's going to feel a little bit quicker than the 79 pace. I like Fred in every FIFA. I'm a Liverpool fan, so I'm not biased towards Fred by any stretch of the imagination, but I think Fred in every FIFA has a little something to offer, in particular at the very beginning of the game. Now, on this side, if you want pace, then feel free to go for the likes of, I don't know, Oxlade-Chamberlain or something. If you want the little bit more physical defence-minded, you can go for someone like McTominay. If you've got coins or you manage to pick them up untradeable, Kante, Fernandez, Fabinho, Pogba, even like a ones to watch, someone like Ziyech or even Jordan Henderson, wouldn't be a terrible option for you. However, I mean, look at all these players. You've got all these options to go for, and not one of them is a bad choice. Kovacic is going to be decent again because he's going to feel very good on the ball. Ruben Neves has got very good passing. He's reasonably well-rounded. You've got Soucek has got a lot of good options. If Torreira hasn't moved to Atletico by the time the game comes out, then you should be able to get Torreira in there, but it looks like he's going to move to Atletico, so you won't be able to get him in. However, the player that I'm going to go for over here, Lo Celso. Now, the reason I've gone for Lo Celso and not any of the other players that I've mentioned is because he has that dribbling and the passing. This isn't really a defence-minded team. You are going to be looking to try and control the midfield and hold a lot of the ball with this team because defending-wise, it's going to be a little bit difficult for you to get it back. Lo Celso and Nabi Keita don't have it in them to make challenges. Fred kind of does. If you give him the right chem style as well, he can be like the anchor. But Lo Celso has very good dribbling, very good passing. Your midfield should feel very agile, and that's kind of what I'm going for. Now, of course, like I said, this is a starter squad. I am just going off the basis that maybe you don't have a lot of coins. You're not going to put FIFA points in. You're not going to buy coins. You're not going to be lucky in packs. Maybe you're not even going to play that much in the very first sort of week or two. Maybe you've got other commitments or you just can't be bothered. Whatever the reason may be, this is a squad for those who don't have a lot of coins and won't have a lot of coins for the first few weeks, maybe even the first month. This team should get you through, realistically. I'm trying to make the best I can for the coins that we have. So in terms of the left side, I'd love to be able to say, look, put Mane in there, put Heung-min Son in there, put Zaha in there. Pulisic is a banging option because he's, again, non-rare, which means that he should fly under the radar slightly. But of course, he's got great dribbling, good pace. Another option right next to him, Alan Saint-Maximin, again, very good pace, good dribbling, and should be, realistically at least, a pretty overpowered player. We're not going to use either of those two because I'm going to go on under the impression at least that they're going to be a little bit more expensive because they're who they are. Saint-Maximin, he'll carry that popularity that he has from FIFA 20 into 21, so he's going to be a little bit more expensive. Pulisic, everyone's been saying he's going to be a really good starter player, so he'll be expensive. Felipe Anderson's only 81 rated, but again, he has good pace, good dribbling. He should be good, but again, he should carry a little bit of a price tag. If Diogo Jota is the same rating when the game comes out, I know this is like the database, but because now he's moved, maybe because he's moved to Liverpool, they might upgrade him. I kind of hope they don't, but you never know. But we're not going to go for him. We are going to go for another Wolves player, though, and that is going to be Daniel Podens. Now, the reason I've gone with him, he's got very, very good dribbling, and he's got a lot of pace. I'm not really sure of his... let's have a look. Have they got it right? 4-star weak foot, 3-star skills is what it says there. He does have, as you can see, 92 agility, 94 balance, really good dribbling and ball control skills for a 78 rated card. He's not going to be very good in front of goal. That is going to be the only sort of downside. So if you want someone who can score goals, then obviously this isn't for you. But for me, I'm going to try and feed the striker. Now, in terms of the right side, this is where we don't know, right? Again, you have options. If you've got money, Gareth Bale, for example. If you've got a little bit more money, you can go for the likes of Mo Salah. I think Lucas will be a good player. I'm actually going to go with Adama Traore. I think he's going to be expensive. If he is too expensive, go for Daniel James. If Daniel James is too expensive, go for Pepe. You've got a fair few options. They're putting the likes of Sarr in here. Of course, Watford were relegated, so we can't use him. But we're going to go for Adama in the hope that he's not too expensive. If he is, you've got other options. Minamino is the sort of the real budget option as well because he's got a lot of pace about him and he should be decent. Now, in terms of the striker, you don't have many options here at all. Let's move over because we're not going to choose any of them. I mean, Aguero, Kane, A, they're not going to be that useful, but B, they're going to be too expensive. Same with Firmino, same with Aubameyang. Vardy should still be too expensive. Werner's going to be too expensive. Martial, probably too expensive. I mean, Gabriel Jesus is a really good option, but again, he'll probably still have a 40,000 coin price tag at the very beginning of the game. So then we're down to the 81 rated cards, and then we're sort of picking the best of the worst bunch, really. King, relegated, so that's pointless. Wilson's now moved to Newcastle, but he has lost a lot of his pace, so don't know about that one. you've got an option of Richarlison, who could work. He's not going to be the paciest of players ever, but still could work. The player that I'm going to choose isn't here. Almiron isn't terrible, but he's not very good in front of goal. So, but the player I'm going to use is not here. The reason he's not there is because they don't have him down as a Premier League player yet, and that is going to be Rigo. Now, he is a Leeds player in real life, of course, so we will link into all these, into this team. And as you can see, he does have 91 pace, 81 dribbling. If we give him a chem style to improve that shooting, he will have above 80 shooting. He will link to everyone because he plays for Leeds. How expensive will he be? I really don't know. If he's too expensive, go for Richarlison. If Richarlison's too expensive, honestly, I would then knock strikers on the head completely, and I would forget about it. I'd go and get someone like Diogo Jota or whatever it may be and use him as a left forward on 7 chem, because the strikers in the Premier League this season, unless you go for the 85, 6, 7, 8s and so on, they're just not that good. The lower rated ones, there just aren't that many decent players around. I don't know how useful pace is going to be this year. I would imagine pretty useful. That's why I've gone with a pretty pacey front three, and I want an agile midfield. But yeah, I just think that this season the Premier League doesn't have anywhere near as much to offer as the Bundesliga does. I haven't looked at the French League yet, haven't looked at the Spanish League, and haven't looked at the Italian League. That's going to be for the next couple of days. So if you do have a particular player from the Premier League that you think is very good, maybe goes under the radar, a little bit overpowered, let me know in the comments section down below. If you have enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for new, and until the next time, goodbye.
Football Index. The game changed. Download the app now.